do it?
No way in God's earth.
Oh, would you take me to him?
Getting to you, is it?
No, I'm fine. It's the horse that needs a rest.
You want me to surrender? Yeah, for openers.
What's his knife got to do with it?
That was the murder weapon.
It couldn't have been. I had it with me from the time I took it off the pantry wall.
Well, that's exactly what the prosecutor was going to say.
Oh, my God, Daddy! No, Daddy! No!
Joe? Whoa. Where's the glasses?
Oh, my God, Daddy!
He's hurting me. Joe is hurting bad.
No, Daddy!
I didn't know it. I didn't do it, Junior. I swear.
No, Daddy! Daddy! No! Ta. See, I start out very graceful. Then I go into my little walk. Ta. Then I go into the slow grind. Ta. And then I really start taking it off.
Hey, no, that's enough. Take it easy. It's okay. So your real name is Zazu O'Brien?
Oh, that's my professional name.
Oh, what's your real name?
Zazu Twitchell.
Zazu Twitchell? You gotta be kidding.
I only married O'Brien for his name. It's legal.
Well, I got news for you. So is this restraining order.
What does that mean?
It means you gotta stop stripping.
I can't just fold my act.
Until we get a modification of the order.
Well, how long will that take?
I don't know, a couple of days. Depends whether or not you can convince the judge you're gonna be a good girl. Whether you cut out all those lewd and lascivious parts.
But those are the good parts.
Zazu, I'm with you.
What if I promised the judge to take him out and then just sort of ease him back in again?
Then the judge might sort of ease you back into jail again.
Well, back to El Paso. What do I owe you?
Nah, no cover, no minimum. My pleasure.
Well, thank you, sweetie. If you're ever in El Paso, catch my act. Won't cost you a cent.
I'll do that.
If you ever are in El Paso and you do catch her act, it may not cost you a cent, sweetie, but it will cost you a broken leg.
My wife's a stripper.
What happened to you? Nothing. Just got some wine on me.
You all right, Clay?
Fair to Midland, Patch. I was wondering if I could have the loan of your saddle.
Sure, it's right over there on the rack.
Saddle? What for?
It's something you put on a horse, Mr. Bissell, to ride on.
You going somewhere, Clayt?
Afraid so. Well, where? I don't know for sure. I thought maybe that line shack up to the north.
You had words with Tuttle again.
Worse than that.
Did you fight him?
I didn't. Somebody did.
Who?
I don't know. He was down when I got there. All I did was trip over him. Of course, Juno will blame me, and Tuttle will swear to it. Yeah, don't make no difference. I was leaving anyways.
Well, surely you ain't in such an all-fired hurry you can't play a couple of hands before you go.
I'd like to, Si, but Tuttle's liable to put the law on me. I best be moving on. Borrow me a horse from old man Murphy. Patch. Toot. Mr. Bissell. Sorry to bust up the game like this. I'll be back as soon as I get myself squared away. Sure miss you fellas.
So long, Clayt.
You'll miss us. He's the only one who likes three-handed pinochle.
Hi.
Tony, these fellas are old acquaintances of mine. It seems a friend of ours has got herself in trouble and they'd like to talk to you about it. It's important.
Any friend of Pete's friend of ours.
I got a filly waiting for me outside. I'll see you later.
Thanks, Pete.
You bet.
See you.
You're the Petrocelli fella, huh?
The name is Petrocelli.
Hmm?
Petrocelli.
I'm Cyrus Bissell, Patch Dressler, Otto Gannon.
Call me Toot.
Toot?
That's Otto spelled inside out.
I had invited them in, but...
No, thank you. We don't accept no hospitality till we settle us on a fee.
Oh, well, now, wait a second, gentlemen. That happens to be my line. Look, why don't we all take standing room inside, huh?
Yeah, please.
$28.65. That's all we got.
Till we get our insecurity checks.
Ain't enough, just say so.
No, as a matter of fact, that's more than enough. My retainer fee is only $25.
Glad to hear it.
Now, why do you fellas need a lawyer? The old man here, Clayton Theodore Doby. He's a friend of yours.
How'd you know that?
Oh, I just took a wild guess. Well, how well do you know him?
Like a brother. Me and him's been best friends for upwards of 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Tell me something, Patch. Did he do it?
No way in God's earth.
Amen. Not old Clayt.
Unless, of course, it were an accident.
Now, how's he gonna stab a man to death by accident? Mistake him for a side of beef?
I meant he could have gone at Tuttle with intent just to crease him a little and slipped his grip.
Only slipped grip around here is located just south of your front teeth.
that does it. Pull my hat. Come on.
Oh, gentlemen. Now, take it easy. Now, as counsel for the defense, I'd be very much obliged if you could supply me with the defendant.
He means Clayton.
Oh, that's right. Now, do you know where he is?
We know.
Well, will you take me to him?
Reckon? If you're up to it.
Up to it? Well, certainly I'm up to it.
Wait a minute, you're getting on the wrong side.
Ain't you ever been on a horse before?
Yeah, well, sure I have. In the merry-go-round in Central Park. This side, huh? Nice baby. Nice boy. Nice boy. This is it, huh? Okay, fellas.
Bravo!
Got it. Okay.
Hold it. That's $6 a horse a day. $24 plus tax.
Tax?
Amusement tax.
What, do I look amused? Tell you what. They settle for 25?
Okay, but that ain't no way to run a business.
Well, tell me about it, huh? You ready, fellas? Let's go, boy, whatever. Headquarters in the saddle.
It's your hindquarters that worry me.
Easy. Whoa. Yeah.
Bye.
What am I doing here? I gotta go to law school for this? Hey, Patch, how much further?
Oh, about a half mile. Getting to you, is it?
Oh, no, I feel fine. It's my horse that needs a rest.
Can't see him yet, but I hear him. You hear that, horse? Must be the law, of course. I gotta discourage him a little.
Patch, get down before he blows your head off. Clayt, it's me, Patch Dressler. You hear me, Clayt?
Yeah, I hear you, Patch. I didn't mean to fire off that last shot. It went off by accident.
It's all right, Clayt. No harm done. Now listen, we brought you a good $25 lawyer.
Lawyer? What I need a lawyer for?
To defend you. Joe Tuttle's dead. You wanted for murder.
Wasn't me stabbed Joe Tuttle.
Look, I just want you to tell me what happened now, and take the time.
Well, like I told you, Juno, that's my stepdaughter, gave this birthday party for Joe Tuttle, my son-in-law. I didn't want to go to the party. Tuttle and me get along like two polecats at a picnic, and I've been living with him since my wife died. Anyway, Juno gave them this party, and nothing would do but I be there, and all of Tuttle's so-called friends was invited, a whole room full of them. There was Mr. Wheat. And there was Sumner, Tuttle's partner in the mobile home business. Oh, and Sumner's wife, Annabelle, who's a real lady. Now, I love Juno, but she ain't ever been one to fight off men with a stick, and they do come at her. Maybe that was what was making Tuttle so mad. The way Weed and even Sumner was making eyes at Juno. But by the time he got around to cutting the cake, he is madder than a jack mule with the hives. It started when he asked me to hand him the cake-cutting knife.
You ask your stupid stepfather to hand me the cake knife. Never mind, I'll get myself. Doddering old Jack.
Well, I can't help it if you got the dropsy.
Clayton, I can't help it if you're unhappy here. If you want to go over the hill to the Golden Days Boneyard, I can arrange it.
Did you hear that, Juno? He told me that he's going to send me out to the Golden Days Boneyard for old folks the next morning. Said it right there in front of all those people. I'd have hit him right then if it wasn't for Juno. Instead, I just bit the bullet, went down the hall to my room. As soon as I got my bag packed, I sat down, wrote a little note to Juno. Told her I couldn't stand it around there anymore. Told her at the last that I was only taking with me my personal possibles and my saddlebags, which I always keep hanging in the pantry. The kitchen light was out, but, well, there's enough light for me to see to the pantry. I knew just where my things was hanging. I'd no sooner stepped out of the pantry toward the back door when I tripped over something. When I hit the floor, I come on what I tripped over. Tuttle, lying stretched out, still as a stone. Glasses. It was about that time that the lights come on. And there was everybody from the party. The next thing I knew, Juno was screaming. And I was trying to tell her it wasn't me that hurt Tuttle, but she went right on screaming. And I could see that it was no use talking, and I lit out of there.
Now, you didn't know he was dead?
Hell no.
Now, if you had known, would you have run?
Probably would have.
Me too.
Look, Clay, is there anything else you want to tell me?
No. Except I hope Juno don't think I done it.
No. I'll straighten that out with her later. But right now, I just want you to tell me the whole story here, all of it.
Whole story. Boy, my story is 66 years long. Now,
No, that's not what I mean. I'm talking about that night.
Are you saying Clay did lie to you?
No, I'm saying that he might forget something.
I'll start by forgetting you ever said what you just said. I don't lie, I don't forget, and I don't want some whippersnapper telling me otherwise.
Now, you listen to me. I am a lawyer. I am your lawyer, Mr. Doby, and you are being charged with first-degree murder. Really being charged with it. Now, this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight between you and me on one side and the people of this state on the other. A tooth-and-nail, cheek-by-jowl, hip-and-thigh gouging match, at the end of which you, Clayton Theodore Doby, will either walk out of here free and clear, or else you will be taken out back by the people of this state, put into a black hood, and hanged by your neck until you are dead. Now, do you understand what I am saying?
Yes.
Do you want me to defend you?
Yes. Yes, I do, boy. You look like you've got some singing to you.
Well, you better listen to what I'm saying, and you better do what I'm telling you to do.
Yes, I will, boy.
I'll take the case.
You'll take the case. You dang well better, seeing as how you already got our $25.
Shut up. Listen.
The police?
Yeah, that's right, Clay.
want me to surrender?
Yeah, for openers.
The district attorney of this county hereby accuses Clayton Theodore Dobie of a felony, to wit, murder. In that on or about the 4th day of October of this year, you did unlawfully and with malice aforethought murder Joseph William Tuttle. Clayton Theodore Dobie, how do you plead?
I never done it.
Not guilty, Your Honor.
How is the 17th of this month at 10 o'clock?
People will be ready, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. Don't I get to say that I ain't guilty?
Your Honor, my client would like to say that he is not guilty.
I'll allow that.
I ain't guilty, Your Honor.
Mrs. Tuttle?
Yes.
I'm Anthony Petrocelli.
Oh, yes, the lawyer. After talking to you on the phone this morning, I had formed the picture of a much older man.
As a matter of fact, I feel like a much older man. However, it's very nice of you to agree to see me.
I want to help Daddy any way I can.
Hi, how do I look?
Fine, just fine. This is Mr. Petrocelli, the lawyer representing Clay.
That's so. Well, my name's Weed, Ron Weed. We're just getting ready to shoot a little television commercial. Maybe you've seen me on TV.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have. It's almost kind of hard to miss you sometimes.
Yes, we do shoot quite a few of them, that's for sure. Say, by the way, what do you think old Clay's chances are?
That's hard to say.
Well, I certainly wish you the best of luck. If you'll excuse me, I think they're ready for me. Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ron Weed for Sumner and Cotton.
Do you plan to continue in your husband's steps here?
Well, I'll try, but... Mr. Petrocelli, I'd like to pay for Daddy's fee. I know he hasn't any money.
Well, that's very generous of you.
I hope you'll be able to help him.
Well, I hope to get him off.
How can you if he did it?
Well, I don't believe he did.
But we all saw him in the kitchen with Joe.
And you're sure that none of the guests were absent from the party at the time prior to the killing?
Of course I'm sure. And when you put that together with his knife...
Knife? What's his knife got to do with it?
You didn't know? The police were just here and told me.
They told you what?
That the knife that Clay carries in his saddlebag, that was the murder weapon. They have proof.
Play pinochle in here. It's public property, ain't it?
Maybe Clay don't feel like playing pinochle.
Don't feel like it. Ain't that too damn bad about Clay after he broke up our game the other night?
Si, if you don't keep your voice down, we're gonna get thrown out of here. I can see that guard looking at you.
Let him look. I've been thrown out of better places than this.
You heard anything from Juno?
No, I ain't, Clay. You mean she ain't come in here to see you?
Oh, you can understand now.
Listen, Clay, I want to talk to you.
Yes, sir.
Just gonna start a little game.
Well, the game can wait. And fellas, I need complete quiet now. This is very, very important. I have here with me the complete police laboratory report on your knife.
My Bowie knife?
That's right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I asked you once if you had a knife and you told me no.
Well, you're wrong. You asked me if I had a knife in my hand when I tripped over Joe Tuttle. I told you no, and I didn't.
Well, where was the Bowie knife then?
Oh, right where it always was, in its scabbard fastened to my saddlebags.
Which you happened to have had in your hands at the time.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say.
Well, Clay, the point is that according to this report, this Bowie knife has been established as the murder weapon.
It couldn't have been. It was hanging right where I always kept it. And I had it with me from the time I took it off the pantry wall.
Well, that's exactly what the prosecutor was going to say.
Thank you, Captain.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the Class C division for junior girls is Miss Shawn Schofield. Yeah.
Mr. Petrocelli, you get here in time to see Shawn?
Yeah, just the last few minutes. She's a beautiful, beautiful child.
Thank you. Sure is.
Our next contestant to work off will be number 206.
You fond of horses, Mr. Petrocelli?
Well, I rather bet him than ride him.
Well, nice of you to meet me here. You got the report on Dobie's knife, right?
Yes, no thanks to you.
I apologize for any delay. You want to run your own test on it?
I'll let you know about that.
Your investigator, Mr. Ritter, made a fuss over the whereabouts of the farewell note that Mr. Dobie wrote to his stepdaughter on the night of the homicide.
Yeah, do you have it?
Yep. There's a copy for you. I didn't hustle it over to you because, well, I think you'll agree once you've read it, there ain't much in it to comfort you.
Well, why don't you let me be the judge of that, huh?
That note shows Clayton Dobie to have been a very angry man. A man who was consciously thinking of homicide just moments before he, in fact, committed that homicide. In fact, that note is the best possible evidence of premeditation.
You mean you're really going to stick to murder one?
Why not?
Well, all your evidence is overwhelmingly circumstantial.
Oh, really? I wonder if you'll say that after you hear my reconstruction of the crime.
Yeah, but why don't you give me a sneak preview?
I'd be happy to. Witnesses told us that Dobie and Tuttle had a fight the night of the party.
Let's skip past the destruction of the birthday cake and start at the point where Juno helped Joe to his feet.
Sorry. I asked him to hand me the knife.
Well, I can't help it if you got the dropsy.
And I can't help it, Clayton, if you're not happy here. If you want to go live at Golden Days City, well, just let me know and I'll arrange it.
You hear that, Juno? He's threatening to put me away.
He's only kidding. I'm not threatening you,
We
Clay.
want you here.
What's not a threat is just an offer. Come on.
You've insulted me for the last time. That's the last straw. I ain't taking no more off of you.
Hey, come on back here. What's the matter with him?
Then Dobie went to his room and wrote that note to Juno. Dear Juno, I'm sorry about tonight, but I've got to do something. Because if I stay around for one more minute, I'll end up by killing that jackass Tuttle. He signed that note, your loving daddy. He then went down the hall and apparently was unobserved making his way to the kitchen and into the pantry. He found the saddlebags with a bowie knife attached and stationed himself inside the pantry and waited. And it wasn't long before his victim appeared. Dobie waited until Tuttle's back was to him, then turned off the lights. Dobie was kneeling over him, blood on his hands, when the party guests came running in.
He's hurt me. Joe is hurt bad.
Then Dobie did the most damning thing of all. He ran, and he's kept right on running.
And Dobie's fingerprints were the only ones on the knife.
Is that all?
All? Yeah, Mr. Petrocelli, that's all. Except maybe, the guilty verdict.
What about the hobo that happened to be in the kitchen when Tuttle came into the room?
Hobo? Oh, come on now. Where'd you get him?
Same place you got your guilty verdict. Thin air.
What did Pete find out?
Names, addresses, and social security numbers of everybody at that party. Big help.
Nothing juicy?
Just that Mr. Tuttle didn't fool around because he was too busy keeping Mrs. Tuttle from fooling around.
Well, maybe somebody got tired of Mr. Tuttle's interference.
Yeah, Mrs. Tuttle did.
Now, I find it hard to believe that a wife would kill her husband.
Oh, female chauvinism, huh?
No, I just don't think that a woman is willing to take that kind of risk. Not like a man is.
I see, like Eve did in the Garden of Eden, huh?
Exactly.
Well, how do you figure that?
Okay. Eve was a mere mortal, right?
Yeah.
But she tempted Adam. Whereas it took all the wiles of the devil himself to tempt Eve. Hello? Hi, Pete. Yeah. The barkeep? Sure, I'll tell him. Okay. Yeah, bye-bye. He would like to know if you could meet him in a place called the Barkeep.
Yeah, I know the place, but why can't he come here?
We said something about being with a maid, and he didn't...
Honey, do not hold dinner. And don't accept any apples from strangers either, huh? See you later.
Okay.
Tell Tony what you found in the pantry the morning after the party.
I found these 2 champagne glasses. I've been wondering what happened to them because I put out a set of 24 matched glasses before the party. And there were only 22 left the next morning until I found these 2 broke in the pantry.
They were broke?
Smashed! Like certain people I could mention.
Agnes, what did you do with them when you found them?
I threw them in the trash. If you want them bad enough, you can still get them. Trash hasn't been collected yet.
No, not the trash.
One of them had lipstick on it. Her shade.
No, not the trash, Tony.
Pete, the trash. Tonight.
And you know that Mr. Tull, he didn't drink.
No, I didn't know, Agnes.
And Clay, Mr. Dobie, he wouldn't touch champagne. So?
So, good night, Pete. Agnes and I have a lot to talk about.
Take care of my money.
You ask me. Lady Juno was in there with one of her admirers. If you ask me, Tony.
So you would therefore say, Mrs. Tuttle, that in the moments just prior to the discovery of your husband's body in the kitchen, the only persons missing from the party were your husband and the defendant, Mr. Clayton Doby?
I'm quite positive of it.
Why so positive?
Well, I was organizing a game of charades when we heard the noise from the kitchen. I know everyone except my husband and my stepfather was in the living room.
Thank you, Mrs. Tuttle. No further questions. Your witness?
Mr. Tuttle? Mr. Tuttle, how long did you play charades that night?
Oh, we'd just gotten started, maybe 5 minutes.
So that you could account for all the guests being in the living room for only 5 minutes prior to the killing.
That's right.
Now, what if the killing took place, let's say, 15 or 20 minutes before you heard the noise in the kitchen? Would you have any way of knowing which guests were absent from the living room at the time it happened?
No, but the killing happened when the noise happened.
No, not necessarily. Mrs. Tuttle, let me ask you something. Were you in the kitchen at any time that night prior to the killing?
Yes, but I can't remember just when.
Can you remember if you were also in the pantry that night?
Pantry? Why would I go into the pantry?
Please answer the question.
No, I didn't go into the pantry.
Thank you, Mrs. Tuttle. If it please the court, no further questions at this time, but I wish to notify the court of my intention to recall this witness for the defense.
Very well. Any further witnesses, Mr. Schofield?
No, Your Honor.
Then the court will recess until 2 o'clock, at which time Mr. Petrocelli will begin his defense. Witness is excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We got these prints off the glasses that were in the trash.
Yeah, it's beautiful, Pete, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. I spent the whole of the night up to my hips in garbage cans, and you say beautiful. You know, I found those broken glasses in the last can just a few minutes before the garbage men arrived.
What about the corroborating fingerprints?
The San Remo PD in both cases. She was once booked for drunk driving. He was once booked for grand theft auto.
That's better and better. Wow. Look, Agnes, when I put you in the stand, I want you to hold up one of the unbroken glasses, huh? Did you have one with you?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show it to you and ask you if this is one of the glasses of the set of 24 champagne glasses that you put out for the party that night.
Yes, it is.
And how many champagne glasses did you find the next morning?
Well, I found 22 of them in one piece, and then 2 more that had gotten busted.
Thank you. I'd like to mark this for identification, Your Honor. Defendants 1.
Defendants 1 for identification.
Your Honor, please, defendants 2 and 3. Two broken champagne glasses.
Defendants 2 and 3 for identification.
No objections.
Now, Agnes, can you tell the court if you recognize those fragments?
Sure. Those are 2 busted glasses I was talking about.
And where did you find them?
In the pantry.
And what'd you do with them?
I swept them up and threw them in the trash.
Thank you, Agnes.
At this time, I'd like to recall Mrs. Juno Tuttle.
Hi, Mrs. Tuttle. Mrs. Tuttle, do you remember testifying that you were not in the pantry the night of her husband's death? Do you still stand by that testimony?
Yes, of course.
Did you drink champagne with the other guests?
Of course.
Out of one of the glasses that the maid had brought out for the party that night?
Yes.
Did your husband drink champagne?
My husband didn't drink.
What about your stepfather?
Clayton never drank champagne. It upset his stomach, and I'm getting tired of all this.
The witness will please confine herself to answering counsel's questions.
Gee, I imagine you are getting tired. Do you like charades?
Not especially.
Neither do I. But for the benefit of the members of the jury who must not be deprived of a substance of any reasonable doubt, I'm gonna have to take you back to the party that night, Mrs. Tuttle. To that game of charades that you organized for your husband's last birthday party. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take you back 15 or 20 minutes earlier, when at that moment, ironically, Joe Tuttle asked Clayton Doby to hand him a knife.
Juno! What do you ask your stupid stepfather to hand me the cake knife? Never mind, I'll get this.
Look at you.
You doddering old jackass.
Well, that can't help it if you got the dropsy.
And Clayton, I can't help it if you're unhappy here. You want to go live at Golden Days Boneyard, you go.
With a little fault and temper on both sides, they managed between them to destroy the birthday party. Angry, Tuttle threatened Clayton Doby with exile to the old people's home. And Clayton's feelings were hurt. Humiliated, the old man stormed out. He went back to his room. And after a moment, Joe Tuttle went upstairs to change his clothes. Now, Clayton Doby was not about to be shipped off to the Golden Days home, so he packed his belongings and decided to leave. Juno Tuttle saw her husband leave the party, and almost immediately she left too, but only to the kitchen, and not alone. With her was a longtime admirer, a Mr. Ron Weed, salesman in her husband's employ. Now, Joe Tuttle had changed his clothes and come back down to the party. His spirits had improved as he talked with some of the guests, and he didn't notice his wife was missing. Fearing discovery in the kitchen, Juno Tuttle led the retreat into the pantry, taking their glasses with them, the same glasses of which fragments were shown to this court, with Mrs. Tuttle and Mr. Weed's fingerprints on them. Meanwhile, Joe Tuttle became curious about his wife's whereabouts. He looked around for her, and then shortly went out to the kitchen alone. He went there to get champagne, and what he got was the surprise of his life. Reason deserted Tuttle, and as many a husband before him faced with the same situation, Joe went for the throat of his wife's lover. Weed momentarily panicked, but regained his cool. The next order of business was to clean the knife's blade and wipe off his fingerprints from the handle. He thought he had washed the knife thoroughly, and he nearly did, but not quite. He returned the knife to its scabbard and then went to calm Mrs. Tuttle so they could return to the party. While all this was happening, Clayton Doby was in his room writing a farewell note to his stepdaughter. And it couldn't have been long after the murder, perhaps as little as 1 or 2 minutes later, that Doby, having finished the note, left his room and went to get his saddlebags from the pantry. Juno Tuttle and Ronald Weed returned to the party as if nothing had happened. Doby found his saddlebags, started for the back door, and this time he found Joe Tuttle.
Joe?
He didn't know Tuttle was dead, but he did know he'd be blamed for whatever had happened.
He's hurt, honey.
Scared, alone, and frightened, Clayton Doby ran.
Your Honor, I object to this outrageous tactic. Mrs. Tuttle is not on trial here.
Your Honor, the fact that Mrs. Tuttle is not on trial here is the only outrage before this court. For I've introduced evidence which impeaches Mrs. Tuttle's testimony that she was not in the pantry that night. Evidence which tends to show that she was not only in the pantry,
but in it with her sometime boyfriend, a Mr. Ronald Weed. On the basis of that evidence, with great confidence in the good sense of the members of this jury, the case for the defense rests.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
Bailiff? The jury finds the defendant not guilty.
Order! Order in the court! The defendant is dismissed.
You can't ride a horse,
Order,
you're a good
please.
Zazu, I told you not to take your clothes off, to cut out the lewd and lascivious parts. You what? Okay, I'll be right down there. Oh, boy. Remember Zazu O'Brien?
Mm-hmm.
She just got busted at a men's smoker trying to earn some money to get back to El Paso. Yeah, some screwball deputy impounded her clothes as evidence.
No.
She says she's getting a chill.
Well, I'll go with you just in case.
You don't trust me?
Not you. Her.
Tony, fellas want to show you their appreciation.
Mr. Petrocelli, we want you to have this with our blessing.
A saddle. Hey, fellas, that's really what I need right now, is a saddle, huh?
Tony, they gotta rush right back. They,
We're trying to talk Murphy, the stable owner, into giving you the horse, too.
Thanks very much, guys. See you later. Let's get out of here.
where are we going?
To cover a client. And besides, I want to get out of here before they bring that horse.